Far, far away, in a cozy corner tucked away from prying eyes, lay a very special garden. Here, its own small, measured and impeccably arranged life flowed on, full of harmony. And this orderly world, of course, had its own ever-present and very responsible guardian. All the inhabitants of this place knew his name. He was called Cornelius, and he was in charge of perfect order. More than anything in the world, the meticulous Cornelius loved flawless, predictable, and precise order. Yes, he loved it so much that he dedicated every minute of his time and all of his gnomish strength to it. In his world, every single pebble, even the tiniest one, lay exactly where fate had destined it to be. Every blade of grass in his flawless lawn was trimmed to the one and only correct and proper height. Not a millimeter more, not a hair less. Such was his immutable and most important law. Even the architect's spider wove its airy webs strictly following the ideals of geometry and symmetry. For this was precisely Cornelius's grand design, unshakable, perfect order in everything. He sincerely believed that only in absolute order and serene silence could one find true peace. And even the sleepy caterpillar, tucked in with a leaf blanket, felt completely safe and comfortable. Surveying his domain from a high hill, he was reassured every time. Everything was exactly as he had intended, his small heart filled with pride and satisfaction, for his world was truly perfect. But in this meticulously crafted beauty, an almost ringing, utterly unbreakable silence reigned. And at times, sitting on his tidy bench, he felt a little, just a tiny bit, lonely. His perfect world was beautiful, but its perfection was missing something alive and elusive. But one day, into this quiet haven of serenity, a dazzling, unpredictable, and very noisy whirlwind burst in. It was a small, mischievous, and sparkling whirlwind, woven from pure sunlight and unrestrained joy. The name of this restless little fidget was Leah, and she was a young fairy who didn't know the meaning of the word rules. She was guided through life by insatiable curiosity and a great desire to touch everything, learn everything, and change everything. She loved to touch the world with her magic, to make it just a little bit brighter and more joyful. But her cheerful and completely carefree games did not always align with others' ideas of order. Her golden dust grazed the path, and one of the pebbles daringly rolled out of its perfect line. Cornelius's keen eye instantly spotted this blatant violation of the sacred order he had established. He couldn't waste a single second and marched decisively to restore harmony immediately. He carefully picked up the runaway, blowing off an invisible speck of dust, for everything in the world must be in its place. He returned the pebble to its one and only correct position. Order was restored. Period. Cornelius sternly watched the troublemaker fly away, sincerely hoping that would be the end of it. But alas, for the mischievous little Leah, this was only the very beginning of a grand and very merry adventure. To the cheerful Leah, this entire garden seemed like a huge, wonderful, and amazing playground. But for the poor architect spider, it was a veritable earthquake, destroying his meticulous work. For Cornelius, however, what he was now seeing was not just a mess, but a true cosmic catastrophe. Again and again, he desperately tried to stop this small hurricane of chaos and return everything to how it was. But this sparkling little hurricane of chaos was too fast, too elusive, and utterly unpredictable. Leah was firmly convinced that her irrepressible fun must be shared with everyone around. She decided to paint the backs of the baby ladybugs, who looked far too serious, with berry juice. And to Cornelius's great surprise, the little ladybugs actually liked these mischievous patterns. But the guardian of perfect order, Cornelius, had his own completely different opinion on the matter. He believed that ladybug backs should be as nature made them, and no other way. Before he could finish his important work, Leah had already invented a new, even more exciting game. She believed that any ordinary leaf could be the start of an incredible and fun adventure. Cornelius, in turn, saw only a leaf that was supposed to remain in its rightful place. Hiding behind a large mushroom, Leah desperately tried to draw the grumpiest gnome in the garden into her game. She cheerfully called for him to play hide and seek, but he seemed to completely misunderstand the rules of this amusing game. Or perhaps he simply didn't want to understand that fun could also be an important part of life. Leah taught the green grasshoppers to dance to the rhythm of the wind, creating a cheerful and very chaotic choir. Then she began juggling sparkling dewdrops, which shimmered in the sun with all the colors of the rainbow. One drop fell on an old toad, and to everyone's surprise, it broke into a very satisfied smile. Meanwhile, Cornelius ran around the garden, trying to fix everything, and with each passing minute, his strength and patience were relentlessly running out. Finally, completely exhausted by this struggle, he sank to the ground in utter despair, admitting his defeat in the face of chaos. And so, Cornelius decided to show her what the true, supreme beauty of order was. He took out his main project, the true crown of his creation. He had been building this tower of stones for many years, selecting each element with incredible precision. It was a hymn to perfect balance, and the sight was mesmerizing. His beautiful tower was almost finished, standing proudly over the garden. Only the very last, finishing touch remained. But in a world where chance exists, even the smallest, most awkward movement can change everything forever. A single movement can destroy what was built over years. The perfect tower trembled and everything crumbled in a single short moment. Cornelius stared at the ruins, and it was more than just a pile of useless stones. It was his shattered dream. He slowly sank to the ground, hiding his face in his hands. There was nothing left of his years of labor. And at that very moment, Leah saw for the first time not an angry pedant and a grump, but someone completely different. She saw a creature who was truly lonely and in very, very deep pain from his irreplaceable loss. Leah realized she couldn't bring his tower back, but maybe, just maybe, they could all build something entirely new together. A brilliant plan was born in her little head. She asked all the inhabitants for help, and they immediately responded. They didn't try to restore the old tower. Instead, they began to create something completely new and amazing. Cornelius watched them in silence, and in their chaotic flurry, for the first time, he saw not disorder, but real, bustling life. In their beautiful joint creation, in this wonderful mosaic, only one final touch was missing. Leah gave him that same white stone, and this time, without hesitation, he placed it in the very heart of their shared picture. Because sometimes, to find true happiness, you just have to let a little bit of joyful chaos into your perfect life.